Hey cutie pies, it is Lanikia and I am back with a new edition of What Happened on Soaps General Hospital. Today is April the 19th, 2022, and this is what happened on General Hospital today. Okay, so we see that just getting the whole gym scene over with. When they enjoy a scene, they stay on there for a few days. So they're back at the gym with Michael and Drew working out, and they're just talking about how everything is going with Michael and the whole Nina situation. He fills Drew in on that. And then Drew says he doesn't exactly know what he's going to do with his life. Aurora, he needs to find out where he fits in when it comes to Aurora. Michael says, are you going to try to get your shares back from Valentine? Drew just doesn't know what he wants to do. But pretty much they only did this scene because then we see TJ and Marshall talking, and TJ and Marshall talk about Aunt Stella, and TJ just asks, like, it seems like you know what's going on with her? And Marshall was like, how would I know? We're not friends. He said, because she had her incident, after speaking with you. And Marshall just says, we're not really close like that, but he wishes her, a recovery. Anyways, the whole thing comes up down to Marshall going over to Drew and telling Drew, hey, I'm gonna accept that job you had to offer. And Drew saying, oh, that job's been filled now. And um and Marshall was like, oh, really? And so he was like, yeah, you never got back to me. He said, oh, or could it be that it was never existed and you and my son just concocted this job? And Michael was like, hey, wait. And Drew said, no, let him say what he has to say. And Marshall was like, unlike you, Mr. What's Drew's last name? I don't remember his last name, but he said, unlike you, some of us didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth, and we have to work for a living. So don't be offering fake jobs. He said, but TJ was like, what's going on? And he said, your dad, my son, your dad, he said, my son concocted this fake job with Drew so they can get a background check or whatever. So Marshall knew all along what was going on or whatever. So, I mean, it is what it is. And he was upset about that. And Michael said that guy was way out of line. And Drew said, no, he was right. Yes, he was right. I've been telling y'all about Drew, but whatever. He did it for Curtis. So it is what it is. And of course, TJ is like shocked that Curtis would do that or whatever. So then we see speaking of Curtis, so I told y'all yesterday Jordan was getting the rights with Portia because she was giving it to her. And so Curtis comes up and he said, yeah, let's not say anything that we're going to regret. And he was like, I think it's best we go into Portia's office. So they go into Portia's office and Portia says, it's my daughter. So you sure that it's not just about me because it's my daughter and she has my blood? And Jordan says, what you trying to say? And she says, that you still in love with Curtis because I'm with Curtis now. You don't want to help Trina. And Jordan says it doesn't matter what my feelings are for Curtis. I'm doing my job or whatever. And Portia was like, oh, so you do have feelings for Curtis or whatever. And Curtis gonna try to say let's no one's questioning your abilities, Jordan, and no one's questioning you, Portia, as far as being concerned about Trina. And Jordan said, are you in the same room? She said, are you in the same room? Because this girl is definitely questioning if I'm doing the job or whatever. So Portia had to leave because she realized she was out of line. So Portia had to leave. And then Curtis talks to Jordan and he was just like, he's sorry. And she was like, I get it. She's stressed and worried about Trina. And she said, but she lets Curtis know, I'm doing everything I can to find the person who's doing this, because she lets him know she's not convinced this is Trina. She doesn't believe that. And we've been seeing Jordan talk to Dante, so we know she doesn't believe that Trina did this and everything. Go to ask Nana. Go ask Nana. Those are words, but we know she doesn't believe that she did everything. So he starts to ask Trina, I mean Jordan, well, what about what she said about feelings? But Trina gets a phone call and she was like, I gotta take this. Yeah, I bet you do gotta take it. But anyways, that's it with them. So then Portia comes back in and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. He says, no, everybody know. I don't know. I don't see the chemistry with Portia and Curtis. I know y'all like them, but the chemistry is not there. And honestly, I don't see it with this new Jordan either. But he says, here. He says, I know you want um everyone knows you're stressed about Trina and everything, so no one's blaming you. Does she have some of hers left? So no one's blaming you for this. So no one's blaming you for what's going on and everything. And she's like, but this is Jordan gonna understand or whatever? And he's like, I'm sure she will. And but Portia tells him at the end of the day though, Jordan has feelings for you. Because I saw the look between you two, and he tells her, no, no, no. He plays it off and because it was a look. He knows Jordan has feelings for him, but he tells her it's because Jordan wants to get to the bottom of who is really doing this. She says, okay, so Jordan does it. She said, it's nice to know that Jordan doesn't believe it was Trina. And so they're talking, and then he gets a phone call for Drew, and Drew tells him, your daddy know what's set him up. And we never was offering him a job, and he is upset. And Curtis is just like, well, he got to know his secrets was going to come out eventually. Now, they done came out the wrong way because you went to Miss Wu for this. And that's it for those characters today. So then we see Anna and Valentine talking, and um, he goes and he talks to Anna about their about everything's going on with her, and he's sorry he couldn't be there to help her with Peter. And she just tells him that she let Peter die, and he says, you're a hero. And she says, no, I'm not a hero. I let my nephew die. I feel like if I could have got to him sooner, that wouldn't have happened and everything. And he was like, Peter, you never know, Peter, if he was going to be a better person or not. But he says, I would have enjoyed seeing his last breath because he was no good. But Anna says, do you judge me? And he says, no, and I hope you wouldn't judge me because we know what Valentine is all into with Victor and Jennifer Smith and everything. And so they just leave it at that they support each other. She said she wished she had been there because even though she had everyone else, she would have liked for him to be there when she took Peter down, just for her moral support and everything. And so he leaves, but then he knocks and he comes back and he plants one on her and everything because they got feelings for each other. But Anna, leave him alone. He's no good. He's no good. He's up to some sneakiness. So then we see. So when Jordan gets the phone call, she goes to the pier, and Alexa's there, and she's talking to Rory, and Jordan comes up, and she's saying that she gives her statement to him about everything about how she found him, and how she was going to see Nicholas, and then she just happened upon this body, and it shook her. And so she was about to go because Jordan said, if you're giving your statement, you can go and everything. And then Rory tells Jordan the name of the man, and Alexis was like, wait a minute. And they said, you know him? And she said, yes. And so she tells them about him coming to the office, how he was Neil's brother. And they said, did he look suicidal or anything? She said, I don't know. She said, do you think he committed suicide? And they were like, they don't know. And so Jordan starts saying, Alexis was like, well, I'm going to go. And Jordan said, I thought you were going to Spoon Island. And she said, no, I'm not in the mood for any company. And Jordan is like, is it because you found a body, or is it because the circumstances? And she said, listen, if you need to speak to anything else, you can speak to my lawyer, Diane. And Jordan was like, I thought you would say that. First of all, Jordan, calm down. Like, Alexis found the body and called 911 and everything. I don't know. This Jordan is just too. She want, like, this new Jordan that they have, not the person, but just the new attitude of her about, I'm gonna play everything by the books, and I'm gonna, like, girl, calm down. Uh, like, you're all by the books now, but you weren't when you was messing with Silas and everything because of TJ and all that. So it is what it is. So anyways, Then we see Willow and Harmony talking, and they are having the exact same conversation they had yesterday, which is Harmony trying to figure out, well, what's going on? Why you keep talking in code and stuff? Um, excuse me, Willow trying to figure out everything about Harmony, and Harmony is just like, everything I've done is for you. And Willow was like, what does that mean? And she was like, I have to learn to live by myself. And Harmony's like, Willow is like, what does that mean? And she's like, oh, I'm just saying, you have Michael and your family, and I'm gonna be moving out with from Alexis, so I'm gonna have my own place, so I have to learn to be alone and everything. Like, Harmony, stop dropping all these hints and get off the drink because you're talking too much. So anyways, Willow asks Harmony to take Wally to the aquarium, and she says, because he needs to be around his grandmothers, the ones that deserve to be around him. Y'all know I can't stand Willow. The ones that deserve to be around him and stuff. I'm like, girl, Harmony. Well, if that's the case, Harmony does not deserve it. But you willing to overlook all this weirdness Harmony has going on because you want to stick it to Nina so bad. But anyways, so Willow ends up leaving, and Harmony says, "Give me another drink or whatever." Now Harmony done sat there and got drunk, even though she got like, "Girl, you got your file. Why don't you delete it, destroy it, do something with it?" Like, I'm not understanding this. Harmony gets drunk and she goes off to the bathroom, and Alexis come in and she says she wants a club soda, to club soda, and Harmony said no, she's gonna have what I'm having. And I'm just like, this girl done got drunk. Alexa's gonna find this file. I don't know what's gonna happen. Let me stop guessing. But so that was it because Alexis was shocked that Harmony was that drunk and everything. So then we go to the kiddos today, the teenagers, and Spencer is there with Cam. He wants his job back at Kelly's, and then because it'll help him, with looking after, I guess, Esme, he'll have someone to talk to with Cam. Anyways, he wants his job back at Kelly's, and Trina and Josh come in, and they're like, no, we're not leaving. If anything, Spencer needs to leave. So it's a confrontation between Josh and Spencer. And she's like, Spencer, like, because he wants to know how Trina's doing because he can't help himself. He loves some Trina. And so she's like, what do you mean? You don't need to deserve to know anything about Trina when you betrayed her sitting over there with your evil girlfriend, knowing she was the one who took the video of us. And Cam kind of sort of defends Spencer because, he knows the truth. He just can't tell anybody because he promised Spencer that he wouldn't. And Spencer is just like, I do care about Trina or whatever. And Cam is like, even though we might not agree with everything, he's still our friend. And Josh is like, no, he's not going against Trina for his evil girlfriend. And so then Britt comes in. And Josh is just going off on Spencer. He said, you're gonna regret. You're gonna be so embarrassed and regret how you treated me or whatever. She says, is that a threat? And so Britt comes on and she says, come here, Spencer. And so he leaves with Britt or whatever, and Cam and Josh, like Trina leaves because she's like, I just need a minute because Cam and Josh are going at it with each other now about Spencer. So, anyways, Josh is just like, you're defending Spencer, and Cam was like, no, I'm not. I'm just saying, look at it from both sides. His girlfriend and one of his friends are, he has to decide. If he chooses one, that means he doesn't believe the other one. And if he chooses the other one, that means he doesn't believe the other. And he was like, you just got to look at it from his point of view. It's a tough spot to be in. And Josh is like, no, it's not, because Trina is innocent. Cam knows the truth, and he don't, he trying to get them to show some sympathy for Spencer, just so they won't completely bash him, because when the truth come out that he really was trying to help Trina, he doesn't want them feeling that bad. But Josh is Luke Carly Jr., and she's not gonna give it to you. So she and Cam end up getting into it about it, and then Trina comes back and everything, and she was like, y'all let it go or whatever. And I don't know, Josh just won't let it go because she's like, how could you do this with Spencer? How could you side with him over Josh? Over Trina? And he's just, and he says, you would understand. And Cam just, because Josh pushes him to the edge, he was like, you would understand if you knew what he was doing. And they were like, what does that mean? And so Britt has Spencer, and she goes and she eats with him or whatever. They go down for a meal, and she just talks to him, and he says he's in a tough spot. And she says, do you believe? Who do you believe? And he says, it doesn't matter who I believe. Like, either way, the other person is going to be mad, and which is what Cam was trying to get them to understand as well. But he don't believe no man. We already know that because he loves Trina. So anyways, Cam is just like, excuse me, Spencer just tells Britt he's in a tough spot, and she says, I know about being in those type of tough spots as well, but you just have to do what you believe in and everything. So Spencer ends up leaving, and Britt is on her phone doing her little scroll through because she's about to meet somebody. I don't know who this man is with the cats, but she about to go on a date with him. And that was General Hospital today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Bye.